Alright, this next video I'm going to show you how to make a complete base for your white line broadcast spreaders. This will apply to your 750s, your 550s, and your 1200, all the C units. For the 2440, in the 2440 assembly video, I included a portion on how to do the base for the 2440. It's slightly different. But for this job, you're going to need a prepared gearbox with oil. You're going to need your complete assembly C, a C agitator, the steel spacer, and a compression spring. You'll need your C agitator bolt, nut, and lock washer, and that size is a 5/16 by 1 3/4. If you need to, if you forget that size, it is written on our bins over here. Next, you'll need a complete fan, fan with blades, and a cold rolled pin, shear pin. First step in this assembly is putting the fan on the long top shaft of the gearbox. However, we need to prepare this fan a little bit before we start. Alright, when this fan shows up to us, it's going to be bare metal, and it will have this center hole drilled out of it. However, it will not have the 5/16 hole drilled in the side. So after it's painted, it will go over to the weld shop. They will drill out that hole. And from the manufacturing of the pan itself, the drilling of the center hole, and the drilling of that 5/16 hole, you're going to end up with a lot of dust and a lot of burrs on the inside here. And so we're going to take a reamer and clean that up a little bit so it makes it easier to get down the shaft. Now, I don't know if the name of this tool is actually called a reamer. That's what we call it here. But taking this tool, and there should be a few of them in the toolbox. If you are low, let somebody know so they can order you some more. But you're going to just give it a few quick in and outs. And when you're going in and out, go ahead and tilt it up and down slightly, so that way the brushes are catching the lip, the outside lip there, to knock that burr off. I'm going to come around to the other side and do the same exact thing. And if you look real close here, you see those nicks? There's going to be some burrs right around where those nicks are at, and they will catch on your shaft. So try to knock them down as best you can. Don't go too crazy. You don't want this thing to be super loosey-goosey on the shaft, but you don't want them digging in and marring the shaft either. All right, once you've finished knocking those burrs out of there, I want you to notice that there's a top hole and a bottom hole on the long shaft coming out of the top here. That top hole is going to be where you install your C agitator. That bottom hole is where we're going to install our fan. And so that 5/16 hole in the fan and the 5/16 hole, the bottom hole on this shaft, need to be aligned. So get them kind of lined up. Slide it down into place. Alright, next we're going to take a 5/16 by 2 3/4 bolt, and we're going to find that bottom hole. Go ahead and knock it through there. And we're going to use that bolt to help us get the shear pin in. So once that bolt is through, go ahead and chase it back out with your shear pin. Now be careful, because that bolt will shoot out of there. And then once you've gotten down to where you don't really have a lot of space for your hammer to reach back in that corner, go ahead and spin your ball peen hammer around, and it will fit back into that corner easier. You just want to knock it in there until it's nice and flush. Getting this fan put on there, if it's real tight and you get it halfway down or get it down the shaft and the holes aren't aligned, it is real tough to get that fan knocked back up this direction. It's a real pain. So just get it to where it's as close as possible to that hole. And then I have this screwdriver that I've grinded down into a rounded point. And if you hammer that into the hole, act like this is the bottom hole there. If you hammer that into the hole, it will grab both the fan and the shaft and align them. Then go ahead and pull it out and put your 5/16 bolt in there and chase it out with the shear pin. All right, the next step is going to be installing our complete assembly C onto our gearbox here and our C agitator. The base plate or assembly C sits just over the shaft, just like that. Your steel spacer sits down right over the top of it, and the reason for this spacer and the compression spring is to block up this gap here so the customer doesn't lose seed and, you know, fertilizer or lime down that gap. So it goes there. Compression spring on top. Then your C agitator comes next. Go ahead and install your 5/16 bolt. And lock it down, and she'll be ready to go. All right, that is your complete base for your broadcasters. Ensure that your number 6 is marked on your base plate, and double check and make sure that you are marked on your gearbox and that you have oil in this gearbox. Other than that, this is ready for installation. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day.